Well, good day, all. Ira Epstein, and here we are with your financial market wrap-up. And this wrap-up, I'm tired. It was a rough day today. The wrap-up is for Thursday, the 21st of September, 5:30 p.m. Central Time. So as we look at the markets, a lot of these markets held today. You know, the markets that got smashed were the stock markets, the indices. But what is the worst month of the year in stock indexes? How often have I said it? Do any of you remember, and I'm sure there's a lot of you, we went into my special report on stock indices that I did 4 weeks ago, predicting a break in September. Remember I gave you the chart, showed you the seasonals as to everything. I thought you'd waffle in October and then start picking up at the end of October, going overall into the year, late into December. I don't know that I'm wrong on any of this yet. Okay, it's giving me the first steps of a longer plan. Bonds and notes, you're at the high interest rate, real rates, since 2007. Big numbers. You're not running away in the dollar. You're up 25 points today. You're still hanging around the 107 area in the euro. Tomorrow morning, we get the Japanese, actually it'll be tonight, but we'll get the decision as to what Japan is going to do. It tried to rally today. They're the only outlier bank so far. Most banks went up today. Sweden, Norway, their banks went up 25 basis points. Turkey went up 500 basis points to 30% interest. That's not a bad thing. They're getting themselves back into something normal. I know 30% isn't normal, but remember what they did is the whole world went into inflation. Erdogan just kept breaking rates. And now they got to bring it all up to bring it back down to a norm. And what are we doing? Well, there's people certainly panicking. Those that bought the tech stocks are wondering what the heck they bought. NVIDIA from its recent peak, not aftermarket peak, recent peaks down nearly 20%. That's a big hit. And of course, people will say, this is your buying opportunity. You buy it again. Not saying they're right or wrong. I don't want to be short NVIDIA for many reasons, but I talk about that in the ETF update. So in the S&P, this is so far, the first time we have been under the 100 grammar. First time the green threw me off. First time we are under the 18-week moving average of closes. You are down for the week 2.64% as I'm talking to you. So that gives the bias of the market to the downside for the moment. The market is now sold off. Do you remember 3 or 4 days ago, I started putting this up and I said, let's take a look at where the highs at the end of August were, where the market was. Look at how much this market is now sold off. That's a pretty good sell-off. In the S&P, I don't know where I went to school, 200 points is a lot of money. When we come to the mini S&P, right up here, you were roughly to 4,600 level. You're back to 4,373. You're down 200 points there still. And that's the same thing, but just pointing out what it's doing. And you can see how it's just now under the Bollinger Band. So is this where I panic and go, oh, the market's going to let go? Absolutely not. Just the opposite. Markets only stay under Bollinger Bands 5% of the time. It doesn't mean you can't go lower. But if you're dying to go short for whatever, the only way that I'm even looking at that would be inside the band, number one. Number two, I don't like selling the first break under a 100-day average. That's where I was getting confused with the averages. I knew what I was going to say. I looked at the charts. So whatever it's going to do for a short while, it will. On the way back up, the logical first resistance is the 44.53 level. I am not saying you buy for that. That's not even what I'm inferring. But that's the first resistance on the way up, and you are oversold. So I'll let the other guys go. This market's going into the toilet. It's not bullish. That's for darn sure. It's a wipeout. That is reality, and it probably finishes up September on a big weak note. That is what I'm looking for. We then go to the micro E-mini NASDAQ. And by the way, let's add some to it. UAW looks very likely to put more things out on strike. Do you see any headway being made in the U.S. budget compromise? 9 days left. Any progress? Yeah, the only progress is McCarthy can't get anything done. Pelosi couldn't wait to give him the jabs, ex-Speaker of the House, saying, well, I never bought a bill to the floor that failed that fast and just did all that, because he claims he got ambushed by two of the Republicans that were going to go along with the vote. The problem with the vote that McCarthy's bringing to the floor, the Senate will never go with it. So they're just killing time. Instead of getting something done that can really be passed in both houses, he's wasting time. He has to, unfortunately, because he's beholden to get that position. He had to make so many promises. He has to go through the act. And that's where we're at, the act, and that's not good for you. So bearishness, yeah. Why would I want to say that they're going to close the U.S. government down? Up to 146,000 U.S. workers might go out on strike, and I'm thinking that's a good thing. I'm not thinking that's a good thing. So that's why I say still downside momentum. In the Dow, it's the same thing. We came crashing down now from the upper band to the lower. You know, this market keeps fighting every time to come back. I want to repeat very clearly, I think the naysayers will come back in October. They'll look for their spots and they will find them. Naysayers are the people that think the Fed will not go through with what they're going to do. In the December micro mini Russell, this is the weakest of all the indices. It's now embedded. So good rallies in this market probably get sold by the pros. This is probably the number one index. If you're a bear, that'd be the one that I choose. Then we take a look at the 10-year notes. You tell me what this market is doing. Has there been any way to be friendly on this market? This market determined what it was doing on the first week of September as it got underneath the 18-week average and it stayed there. That gave you the downside bias. If you listen to what I teach you here in bias, when you're under that, you're not looking for buy signals. You're looking for sell signals. Yes, you can cover shorts by buying, but that is not going long. There's a huge difference. And it is still the momentum to the downside. 5-year, the same identical, exact same thing. And these things, if they're locking in and embedding, who knows where they're going? Why can't you go to 4 3/4? You're at 4.5% right now on the 10-year. I mean, these markets are just adding. And by the way, as this is going on, are you watching what Miss Janet Yellen is doing, our Treasury Secretary? I put out tonight the size of the auctions that the U.S. Treasury has. Where do you see all these billions? I mean, it's massive. And she's got the schedule laid out through the 28th now of September. How do you get somebody to buy them? You keep raising the rates. Got it. That's what's going on. I've mentioned it to you over and over. It's part of it. You can't have this size deficit and not feed the animal. That's what the animal is. And I'm not saying Ms. Yellen is the animal. The animal is the debt. It's got to be fed. It's got to be nurtured. You keep doing this, you keep just driving it at this point in time. What if Japan starts, by the way, dumping our instruments and stops buying? That even drives rates higher if they don't dump them and they just let them roll off. Uh-oh. All right. In the dollar index, are we going to make it to 105.64? Well, we're still embedded. Until this red line closes under 79, it could easily do that. In the eurocurrency, until this closes over 21, the bears still have complete control of the market, and the pros will probably sell the first rallies in the market. In the British pound, market did what? For the first time in a long time, they didn't raise a rate. I think it's the first time in 14 meetings they didn't have to raise a rate. How did the market greet it? It fell anyways. So look at how far you're down. You know, we had talked about 120 in the British pound here. We're not that far away. In Bitcoin, well, the market's still over the 18-day average. It's holding a pattern of higher lows, higher highs. It's still friendly by the skin of its teeth, but it's still there. I'd rather be bullish than bearish. Then we get to Brent versus WTI, the differential. Every time it comes in, you're narrowing it in right here. On November Brent, you still have a bullish pattern. However, a big event took place today. Big. Let me show it to you. If we step over here, this is the close Wednesday. You lose the embedded reading. So from my perspective, before you go back up for those highs, wherever the 18-day average is where this market's going to try to get in fair order. So I'm looking for it to get back there before it resumes its uptrend. What about in the WTI? Let's look at the close of this market. On Thursday, you lost the embedded reading. The market finished at 89.63. It's right now 89.68. It lost the reading. I had my subscribers long higher than this. They got out today, what's called a scratch trade, if they listened to me. Definitely got higher. Happy as can be. The reason I came in, the embedded reading. The reason I'm out, lost the embedded reading. Got to play the disciplines. Then in the heating oil, market is trying to now find its footing. This is a market I want to get long. Why? Winter's coming. You got tight situation. You don't have all those stockpiles you think. Be careful. Natural gas, as I said, Australia could be off the radar now, where they're going to look a lot better if they can solve the Chevron deal. It's up to the union. And if the union doesn't accept what the arbitrator said, it goes instantly back to the arbitrator, and he can force the union and Chevron to take whatever it wants, and it's binding on him. So I like how that plays. It doesn't go that long. All you need is a good arbitrator, and I don't know what that means. Really don't know what that means. If you've ever had one, I've had bad ones, I've had good ones in my lifetime. Some are great, some are just absolutely, you go, where the heck's this guy or girl coming from? All right, so that's pretty much what I'm seeing here. We'll see how the markets want to play out tomorrow. I want to remind you that if you like to keep up with my thoughts and what I do, it's all in my commentaries, both my videos in the morning and not the ones that are free, my subscriber video, and my twice daily written commentary starting Sunday night through Friday morning. I do take Friday night off on writing and Saturday. Then I start again for Sunday. How do you get this is the biggest question. Well, it's simple. You move your cursor right up here. You'll see an icon. Or you can go to iraepstein.com under free offers, choose the ones you want, and sign up there. You'll find that I write in such a way that you'll get through my market letter by my design in about 3 minutes. I used to read these letters that were journals, and then I'd forget what I was reading. I'd start at the beginning. By the time I got to the end, it's like reading a novel every day. I don't want that. So I write using a lot of bullet points for the main part. I summarize it at the end, give you my thought, move on, and wrap everything up in a commentary. It's pretty simple. It looks good. And I think you'll like how quick it can come out and make the point on you. So give it a try. Move your cursor up there. I'll see you in the morning.